Today's mission, make your on-camera flash images suck less. The solution, quick, actionable steps that you can use to take your flash images from harsh to natural and professional. I'm Mark Bergerine, and today I'm using the Godox V480 flash to demonstrate how to add light with a flash without making your images flat. By the end of this video, your flash photos will actually look good, and stick around to the end because I'm gonna be giving away one of these flash units. First, let's talk about what's wrong with most on-camera flash shots. They look flat, they have no depth, they just have a low quality look, and even that fake backdrop feeling. What causes this? Usually, it's using your flash incorrectly. Your instinct is to aim your flash directly at your subject, and that's just gonna create an ugly image. Normally, I'd recommend getting your flash off the camera onto a light stand, but that requires more work, sometimes an assistant, sometimes just more effort. So today, we're gonna talk about how to keep it on your camera, but make your images look better. I'll talk through each of my techniques and give you a short practical demonstration so you can master them. All right, so the first technique that I recommend is to bounce your flash. Do not aim your flash directly at your subject, point it in a different direction so that you can bounce off another surface and create some nice light. You're gonna wanna experiment with ceilings, walls, anything that's around. You can shoot in TTL or through the lens mode, or you can shoot in manual mode, depending on if you want repeatable results or just really fast and efficient workflow. TTL is gonna be really easy. It meters itself, creates the flash power you need or it thinks you need, whereas manual mode is gonna be a little bit more fine tuning on your end, but give you consistent, repeatable results. It's kind of like the difference between shooting in manual mode on your camera versus shooting in automatic mode. There's pros and cons to both. However, I would encourage you to experiment with manual mode so you get a feel for what amount of flash power gives what result, and it just helps if you want to master your flash and get those consistent results. So as you'll see in this demo I'm about to show you, bouncing is all about angles. You can bounce off walls, you can bounce off ceiling. Ceiling can create flat light. You're gonna want to be aware of the color of the surface you're bouncing off of because it can create a color cast on your subject. The last thing to consider though is that bouncing won't work if you're outside. So if you're outside, you're gonna need to get this thing off your camera and onto a light stand because there's realistically not much to bounce off of when you're shooting in an outdoor location. Okay, so to demonstrate some bounce flash, we're in our tiny studio here and I'm gonna be taking some pictures of Brenda seated at this chair. First, I'm gonna take a exposure without the flash on so you know what it looks like to start, and then we'll experiment with some different bounce angles and you can see how bouncing the flash works. So first image will be right here. And I'm in manual mode, so nothing should change except for adding of the flash. So the first thing I'm gonna do is take a direct flash pointed right at the subject, which is probably not gonna look great. All right, got that. So next, we're gonna wanna switch that up. So the first thing you might try with your bounce flash, point it directly up or maybe slightly backwards, and you're gonna probably get a nice even exposure, but it can look a little flat. So let's take a look at that. It looks pretty decent, but a little flat. I think we can do better if we experiment. So the next thing I'm gonna try is just bouncing off this side white wall. Be aware if you bounce off of any colored surfaces, you will get a color cast on your subject. So just be aware of that. Cool, so now we have a nice light coming in from the side. I think that looks good. Let's experiment lastly with kind of up diagonally and to one side, and then we'll try the other side. And then we'll try back off of this corner. So back and to my right. Awesome. I think those look very nice. I think that my favorite was bouncing it off this sidewall. Now my second technique for you is all about diffusion. When it comes to flash being too harsh or creating harsh shadows, the simple solution is to soften it by diffusing it. And that's exactly what we were doing previously by bouncing it, but there's a few other things to think about. With natural light, we look for diffusers like clouds, open shade, or nice window light. Those are not gonna work when you've got a flash, so you'll need to come up with your own solutions. One thing you can do is that you can angle your flash forward and pull up the little bounce card, and this is gonna bounce light off of this card, spreading it in a more diffuse pattern. That's really the only technique as far as on-camera flash. You can buy a number of gimmicky things that go on top of your flash that say they diffuse it, but the reality is this is just a small light source. If you really want to diffuse your light, you're gonna need to look for something like an umbrella or a reflector. So a reflector basically comes in a few different formats. So you can have something like this, but what you really want, if you want diffuse light, is to unzip it, take that outside layer off, and let the light flow through something like this. Now you could shoot a flash through this and it will diffuse your light, or you can shoot a flash through a shoot-through umbrella like this, which opens up. You can either bounce off of it if you put the black side on, or you can shoot through your umbrella and get a diffuse light that way. Now, both of those diffusion techniques, whether you're using the umbrella or the reflector, are gonna require you to get your flash off your camera. So you're gonna wanna make sure you have a wireless transmission flash like this one from Godox or another one so that you can wirelessly control either from another flash unit or from a wireless trigger. And both of those are gonna require a light stand and possibly an assistant so that you can get those positioned correctly, and that's just the easiest way to do it. However, this video is all about on-camera flash, so if you want any tips on off-camera flash, let me know down in the comments and we'll make a video about it. Let's get back to some of the tips for keeping your flash on the camera. In general, our philosophy is to keep things as simple as possible, and an on-camera flash setup is definitely that. So my next technique for you is to adjust your flash power and camera settings to balance the light. Another reason your flash might not look so good is that it might be too harsh and you are shooting at too high of a flash power. In this case, you're gonna wanna lower your flash power output and balance it better with the ambient light. This will also give you a better recycle time. You can do this by adjusting the flash exposure compensation or by shooting with a manual flash power and balancing it with your ISO, shutter speed, and aperture tweaks. Shutter speed will affect the ambient light, while ISO and aperture will control both flash and ambient exposures. So once you can get that dialed in, you can use your flash to add just a little bit of fill and it won't look totally blown out and like you're shooting with an on-camera flash. Sometimes you just need a little bit of extra light to bring the brightness of your images up. Okay, so that brings me to technique number 4, which is to drag the shutter. Most of the time you'll want to bounce your flash, but one scenario you want to point it right at the subject is when you're dragging the shutter. In dark environments, you can create a cool effect of a blurred background and a sharp subject by reducing your shutter speed. Anything in the foreground that's not too bright will be illuminated by the flashed pop, which will be very quick and it freezes the motion. You can combine it with shutter speeds of 1/8 of a second to 1/15 of a second, and you'll get some fun images. This works the best when you have other light sources in the background to create depth and add that camera movement result. Okay, so the next thing I wanna show is dragging the shutter. What I'm gonna do basically is drop my shutter speed down to between a 1/10 and a 1/15, and it helps to have some kind of twinkle lights or lights in the background. Obviously, you're not gonna do this with somebody just seated as a portrait. It's more of like a dance floor shot, but we will demonstrate here so you can get the idea. And I'll usually either give my camera an up and down, side to side tilt, or a twist with that. And it freezes the motion and you get blurred backdrop with a sharp subject. You can also do it with pointing your flash in a different direction. That works as well. So combining those two techniques. Cool. So that's dragging the shutter. All right, my 5th technique for you is to adjust your flash zoom. If your flash has a zoom function like this one does, you can manually zoom the flash narrower than the focal length of the lens to get a vignette look. This works well for drawing attention to the center of your image and can create a unique look. The next thing you can do when aiming your flash directly at your subject, if you want a kind of hard light look, is you can manually zoom your flash. So I'm using a 50mm lens, so I'm gonna manually zoom to 105, and that's gonna narrow the beam of the light and emphasize the center of the subject. And this works well in really dark environments, so I'm gonna shut off the lights in the background and see how it looks. All right, technique number 7 is to use color balance. So you can use gels, which are basically just colored pieces of plastic, transparent plastic. They go over the top of your flash to change the color of the light in your flash. Combine this with changing the white balance in your camera, and you can create some interesting separation between your subject. Now, we used to use gels a lot, but I have lately been using the automatic selection tools in Lightroom to manually adjust colors, which is an alternative, but it's really fun to learn to do it in camera. And if you want to get more extreme with different colors, like you want to shoot a red and green light in creating a Christmas image, we had some friends that did some great job at that, you can use gels to create that interesting effect. Now, to mount gels, you can go the old school route where you just gaff tape it to the top of your flash and wrap the plastic over the top, or you can get some magnetic mounts and some other ways that are a little more professional for putting your gel on top. Another scenario where you might want to gel your flash is when you're trying to match the ambient light. So if you're in a room with a lot of really kind of moody orange, warm light, you may want to gel your flash so that your flash matches that color, and it will make your images match a little bit better and not look like they're lit with an on-camera flash. The other option is to go in the complete opposite direction and put either a warmer gel or a cooler gel on your camera and get that subject separation. Okay, so that brings me to technique number 7. embrace the look. It's not really a technique at all, but sometimes on-camera flash is exactly what you want. For that nightclub rock star look, sometimes you just want to aim your flash directly at your subject and brighten it up. This works well for super dark scenes, but you might struggle to nail the focus, so you'll have to get some fast glass if you want to be able to focus in low light. It creates kind of a dramatic, rockstar party vibe that can be interesting if that's the look you're going for in your images. Now, I hope these techniques were helpful to you. If you have any questions about them, leave a comment down below. If you're just getting started and need a flash, I highly recommend this Godox V480. There's a lot of great features about this, and I wanted to give a quick review. I've been using Godox flashes for about 7 years now, and they sent me this V480 unit to experiment with, and I was actually pretty impressed. It has a pretty nice touchscreen on the back. They make a model for almost every camera brand. It's got a USB-C chargeable battery and all the functionality that I would need, including wireless control, so you can have it off camera, on camera, whatever works for you. So as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm gonna be doing a giveaway of one of these flash units. So if you haven't already, leave a comment down below and tell me which technique you are gonna be using, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Now, I'll do a drawing and somebody down below will win one of these flash units and I will send it to you. The Godox V480 sells for $170. You're getting a powerful flash unit at a pretty impressive price point. I know when I was first starting out, I bought some Canon flashes and I was paying $500–600, and that was quite a few years ago for a wirelessly controlled flash. This thing is impressive, the amount of value that they can pack into such a small unit. All right, let's do a quick recap. To make your on-camera flash actually look good, remember to bounce your light. Don't just aim it right at your subject. You're gonna wanna adjust your flash power, drag the shutter, zoom your flash, tweak the color, or just embrace the look. If these tips aren't working for you, it might be time to get your flash off your camera. In that case, check out the gear I recommend in my money and gear guide. That's a free guide. I'll put a link down below. The best part, you don't need expensive gear or complicated setups. These tricks work with any on-camera flash, including this Godox. Give them a try and watch your flash photos turn from flat to more natural and professional. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more photography tips and gear hacks. And as I said, drop a comment down below to win a flash, and you'll be entered in our giveaway. And make sure you're subscribed, because next week we're gonna be talking about one habit that instantly changed our photography. In the meantime, check out more tips about making the most of your photography gear, and I'll see you in the next video.